Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Okay, today we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about one of my favourite scents, and it's from I think it is, it's my favourite house, which is Mancera. And today we're going to be looking at Mancera's Black to Black. The weather has made this is actually my scent of the day. I'm wearing this today and I'm enjoying it very much. The weather today in South London is pretty foul. It was lovely yesterday and it's gone grey and wet and a bit crappy today. So I thought I'd wear something quite heavy. Black to Black. Now I believe this possibly was a Middle East exclusive. I'm not sure about that. I have just had a look on the Mancera's website and it's not there. Now, I don't know if it ever was there because I got this via Notino in the UK. So you can probably get it, I mean, I got it quite a while ago, but you can probably get it online and obviously for quite a good price. Just before we get into the review, when you're looking at Notino, do try and keep your eye on the ball because what they quite often do is they suddenly will just massively reduce a ton of fragrances. They've done it a few times with their Manceras. They suddenly just drop right down in cost, which is brilliant news for us. If if you keep your eye on it, blink and you miss it kind of thing. So just keep your eye on the ball with Notino as well, especially the UK side. I don't know if Notino is still in the States, to be honest. But obviously always keep looking at your discount websites anyway, because there are loads of great deals to be had at various times. Before we get into it, let's just talk a little bit about the brand Mancera. Now, they were set up by Pierre Montal, who also has the Montal brand. The Montal and the Manceras kind of sit side by side. And there are, I think, some fragrance crossovers. So both ranges have got a heck of a lot of perfumes. They really, really do make an awful lot of fragrances. So, trying to work through them all could be quite difficult. There's literally loads and loads and loads out there. Now, Pierre Montal was a French perfumer. I think he's, the family that he comes from were perfumers. And then Pierre went to the Far East, I think specifically Saudi, where he spent about 5 years learning about Middle Eastern perfumery. And I think the ethos, or certainly my understanding of it, is that he wanted to take sort of primarily oud and a lot of the craftsmanship and perfumery from the Middle East and combine it with more sort of traditional Western perfumery or French perfumery, and came up with the Montal brand first and then the Mancera. And I think the main difference between the two was something simple, according to Pierre anyway, that the Mancera bottles are all clear. They're all glass. Well, they're not clear, but they're all glass. And you can see how much liquid's in them, whereas with the Montals, they're in that kind of like tin, shiny tin, and you have not got any idea what liquid's in there. But anyway, I digress. Black to Black. I keep wanting to say Back to Black for some reason. Probably because I've been listening to too much Amy Winehouse. Black to Black came out in 2015, and it's, as you would expect, it's quite a heavy, oudy fragrance. And what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the notes, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the fragrance itself. So at the top notes, you have bergamot, you have saffron, and you have cloves. And then in the middle, you have rose, jasmine, patchouli leaf, and amber. And on the base, you have leather, white musk, sandalwood, agarwood, or oud. Now, I am wearing this at the moment, and a little goes a very long way. So I will respray it on my wrist for the purposes of this review. But I'm not going to spray a lot because it's, well, you'll find out in a minute. Okay, just a tiny bit. So this opens quite medicinal, with quite a medicinal vibe to it. The oud is very, very strong in the opening. It's got quite a medicinal kick to it. And then it sits with, the other ingredients, and then it kind of blends together. This is an absolute beast. The performance on this is quite unreal. It lasts and lasts and lasts, and for the first couple of hours it really, really projects, so you must be very, very careful with the trigger on this one. If you get it on clothing, you're having to wash the clothing. Don't get it on an overcoat or anything like that, because it will stay on the overcoat until you get it to the dry cleaners or bin it, basically. It is a very, very potent juice, and one of the reasons why I love it so much, because once it's applied, you've got it. It's very, very loud for the first few hours. You get 3 hours of really, really strong projection, and then it sits very close to your skin. Well, not very close to your skin actually. It still kind of projects a little for its entire length of you know, how long you got it on for. I've worn this and it's still noticeable on skin. You know, if I go out in the morning and then I'm out all day, it's still noticeable on your skin for at least 12 hours. Really, really strong performer. And the other thing I quite like about these Mancera bottles as opposed to the Montel ones is these are 120 ml, whereas the Montels are only 100, so you do get a bit more. And price-wise, they're pretty similar. I think the Manceras are a little bit, you just get a little bit more for your money, basically. They all come in these bags, so they do offer a little bit of protection. You know, that's what it is. Beautiful bottles, very solid, nice screw top, not a pull top, so you can see that. Attention to detail on them is excellent, and there's a little bit of engraving on there as well. But anyway, enough about the bottle and more about the juice, as it's often called. This opens with quite a medicinal hit, and I love it. The saffron and the patchouli are quite prominent within it. The saffron gives it a little bit of sweetness, and then it all becomes about the rose, to be honest. And it's a nice rose. It's not overly sweet. If you wanted a sweeter rose, then you would probably be better off looking at Mancera's Black Lion, which I also own. Now, they often do get confused in terms of scents, and the scent profile of them is quite similar. But the key differences between the Black Lion and, the key differences between the Black to Black and the Black Lion for me is this is far, far sweeter. The rose is a lot sweeter within this. It's almost got like a jammy sort of rose in it, in a kind of a bit like the MFK's, one of the Oud Silk Mood or Oud Satin Mood, I think it is. So that's for your sweeter rose, go for that. Performance on this is pretty much the same. It's not as loud. It doesn't project quite as much as the Black to Black, but it lasts in exactly the same way. It does last forever. Really, really nice scent. And actually it's probably deserving of its own review. So anyway, back to this. Once the opening sort of settles down after about 3 hours, maybe sometimes a bit more. To be honest, I haven't worn this when it's hot, so I don't know how that will react in the heat. I'll have to be very, very careful with it because it is powerful. And that does lead on to something else. Now, when people say you can't wear, like, you know, the heavier oud fragrances in the summer in the heat, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, these are influenced by the Middle East, where it's hot a lot. And oud-based fragrances are worn all year round in the Middle East. So, you know, you've got a whole sort of world of people wearing heavy scents in hot weather. So I believe you can wear these in hot weather, just probably not as much, you know, be very careful on the spray. You don't want to be choking yourself out and anybody else around you, because the projection on these is quite immense, especially the Black to Black. It really does belt out. I've worn it to work, and I like powerful scents. So, you know, when I wear them to work, I just try and, you know, I've got a history of overspraying. I'll you know, be the first to admit that. But with this, definitely not. I would never overspray this because it is quite a powerful scent, and not everybody likes the smell of oud. Richard, my long-suffering partner in crime with questioning scents, does not get on with rose in fragrances. In fact, this is actually the reason why we discovered that the rose in fragrances make him sick. Because when I got this, I kind of fell for it, and I could not stop raving about it to Richard. So Richard sort of took my advice and bought it. I think he had it back on eBay. I think he had it on eBay within 24 hours of getting it. We noticed straight away it was the rose and the saffron combo within this that made Richard feel quite queasy. So that was no good for him, which makes me believe that this isn't blind buy safe, because if you have kind of any aversion to rose or saffron or oud, this is definitely not for you. They're very, very much the dominant notes within this. When it dries down, there is, yeah, hang on. Yep. When it dries down, the sandalwood sits on the base of this and makes it quite a nice, smooth transition from the loud sort of medicinal start as it runs through all its different notes and stuff, the wood, and there's some leather in this, kind of keep it all humming along nicely. So it's a very smooth transition from start to finish with this product. The fragrance is very, very well blended, and it's an absolute pleasure to wear. Even my wife likes this. Now, the other thing that I've noticed with this, which is quite surprising, is it's a bit of a compliment getter, which I didn't think it would be. Because it is such a, an oody scent, I thought it was one that I was wearing just for me. I didn't expect anybody to give me any compliments on it. But I've had two complete random strangers ask me what I'm wearing when I'm wearing this, in a positive way, not asking me what I'm wearing and telling me to get stuffed or whatever. They were, oh, right, could I just take a note of what that was that you're wearing? So yeah, that surprised me. Really, really happy about it. So in summary, this is a bit of a bomb. It performs in a beastly manner. It's a gorgeous scent. It's very rich. It's very intoxicating. It's got a real strong Middle Eastern vibe to it. And it's thoroughly enjoyable. Just go a bit light with the trigger. Anyway, thanks very much for your time. We will speak soon. Take care. Bye.